Joe Bonamassa isn't just one of the greatest blues rock guitarists alive. He's also one of rock music's most obsessive historians. By the age of 48, Bonamassa had collected thousands of vintage guitars, rare amps, and first-press vinyl records. But when asked about his favorite rock albums of all time, his answers weren't trendy, commercial, or obvious. They were deep, personal, and brutally honest. These are the 10 rock albums that shaped Joe Bonamassa's sound, attitude, and lifelong devotion to the blues. 10. Free, Fire and Water, 1970. Joe Bonamassa has repeatedly praised Paul Kossoff as one of the most emotional guitarists to ever touch a Les Paul. Fire and Water isn't flashy. It's restrained, aching, and deeply human. Songs like All Right Now showed that power didn't come from speed, it came from tone, vibrato, and space. Bonamassa has said Kossoff taught him an essential lesson. One note played honestly is worth more than 1,000 played fast. 9. Mountain Climbing. 1970. Leslie West's guitar tone on Climbing hit Joe Bonamassa like a freight train. Thick, raw, unapologetically heavy. Tracks like Mississippi Queen proved that blues could be massive without losing its soul. Bonamassa credits this album for shaping his love of big amps, thick tones, and fearless guitar phrasing. This was blues rock with muscle. 8. Derek and the Dominoes, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, 1970. Few albums capture emotional collapse like Layla. Eric Clapton's playing is vulnerable, desperate, and exposed, a far cry from polished rock stardom. Bonamassa has often pointed out how this album taught him that pain belongs in music, not hidden behind technique. The guitar conversations between Clapton and Duane Allman created a blueprint Joe would later explore throughout his own career. 7. Cream, Disraeli Gears, 1967. Before blues rock had rules, Cream was already breaking them. Disraeli Gears blended psychedelic chaos with Chicago blues DNA. Bonamassa has praised this album for Clapton's boldness, bending blues tradition without disrespecting it. Songs like Sunshine of Your Love showed how riffs could be hypnotic instead of complicated. This album taught Joe how to balance creativity with roots. 6. Rory Gallagher, Irish Tour 74, 1974. Joe Bonamassa has called Rory Gallagher one of the most underrated guitarists in history. Irish Tour 74 is raw, live, and completely unfiltered. No studio tricks. No overdubs. Just sweat, strings, and truth. Bonamassa has said this album showed him what real live blues rock should sound like: dangerous, imperfect, and alive. 5. Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, 1975. For Bonamassa, Physical Graffiti represents total artistic freedom. Jimmy Page moved effortlessly between acoustic blues, crushing riffs, Eastern scales, and experimental textures. Joe has often praised this album for its depth, not just guitar work, but songwriting ambition. It taught him that blues-based rock could be epic without becoming soulless. 4. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, 1975. Jeff Beck changed the rules with this album. No vocals. No compromises. Just tone, phrasing, and innovation. Bonamassa has cited Blow by Blow as proof that the guitar itself could tell a complete story. Beck's touch, dynamics, and control influenced Joe's approach to instrumental storytelling more than almost any other record. 3. Fleetwood Mac, Then Play On, 1969. Before Fleetwood Mac became a pop phenomenon, they were a blues band, and this album proves it. Peter Green's playing on Then Play On is haunting, gentle, and devastatingly emotional. Bonamassa has openly admitted that Green's restraint and sensitivity deeply shaped his phrasing. This album taught him that silence can be just as powerful as sound. 2. B.B. King, Live at the Regal, 1965. No album influenced Joe Bonamassa more than this, except one. Live at the Regal is blues perfection. B.B. King's ability to communicate emotion with minimal notes completely redefined guitar playing. Bonamassa has said this album taught him how to speak through a guitar, not just play it. Every bend, every pause, every note has purpose. 1. John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers with Eric Clapton, 1966. This is the album Joe Bonamassa calls the foundation of everything. The moment Eric Clapton plugged a Les Paul into a Marshall, blues rock was born. Bonamassa has said this record changed his life, the tone, the confidence, the authority. It wasn't about showing off. It was about owning every note. This album taught Joe what it meant to be a blues guitarist forever. Joe Bonamassa's favorite albums aren't about trends or sales. They're about tone over speed, emotion over technique, truth over perfection. These records didn't just inspire him. They built him. Which album on this list do you love the most? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more classic rock deep dives.